And first up, we have a horror game that I streamed on this channel. We beat the whole game on the channel. I have every game in the series and I had never played any of them until this one, and it's Silent Hill. So Silent Hill is absolutely a classic game, and it's considered to be one of the originators of the survival horror genre. So there were survival horror games that came before it, obviously, Resident Evil did, but Silent Hill really contributed to locking that entire formula into place. And the story you play is Harry, and he's on vacation in a town called Silent Hill when his daughter goes missing. He's looking for her, and of course everything starts going absolutely insane. There's this strange fog that rolls in over the city, and the world keeps shifting from like this figurative nightmare to this literal one. I don't want to spoil too much, but the whole atmosphere is insane. And the game plays like you would expect. It's your standard PS1 kind of survival horror game with tank controls. There's limited ammo, there's limited healing, there's a bunch of like puzzles in the game you have to solve to make progress, there's tons of exploration and backtracking, all the stuff you would expect. I think this is like the best looking and most impressive technically PlayStation 1 game I've ever seen. There's tons of atmosphere, it's like palpable, you can feel it when you're playing the game. There's so much detail, it's really mind-blowing they were able to do this on the PS1. The sound design is fantastic. There's stereo sound. You can hear where the enemies are coming from if you have like a surround sound system or you're playing with headphones, which is like unprecedented on the PS1 as far as I know of. The music likewise is really incredible and really like kind of adds to that creepy atmosphere that you're experiencing in this game. And overall, the entire presentation of Silent Hill is just unbelievable. I find it to be absolutely remarkable. There's some real standouts in this. Other than the fact that the game is just good, I will say that I love how challenging the puzzles were. Some of them like blew my mind, and I streamed this online, so I had like, you know, the people in chat helping me out a little bit. I told them not to like give it away, but if I asked for help for them to chime in and maybe give me a clue, and some of those puzzles, boy, let me tell you, they are not easy. I mean, you can figure them out, but they really stretch your mental capacity, to say the least. I think some of them were like the hardest puzzles I've ever experienced in a game. I mean, they were way up there, especially for a survival horror game, and I really liked that. A few of them maybe, especially like the Zodiac puzzle, needed a little bit more direction or maybe just a little bit more of a clue, because I feel like the whole Zodiac thing was a bit of a red herring. It was sending me down the wrong path, and it really had nothing to do with the puzzle. So you can't always trust your instincts on these puzzles, and I think that was kind of interesting. The tank controls don't feel bad in this. I didn't really have any issue with them, and I think the exploration and the amount of ammo and stuff they gave you, especially on normal, which is what I played it on, is reasonable. The game's challenge was fair, it wasn't too bad, but there are a few things about the game that I didn't necessarily love. First of all, the enemies, especially outside, like in the city area, they just respawn infinitely. And I don't really like that. Every time you go back through that area, they come back and you have to fight them again. And I really just kind of want to explore the town of Silent Hill and just soak it in. The way I kind of had to play it was that I just ran through the area to like avoid these enemies and save my ammo, and I didn't like that. I felt like the game was kind of preventing me from doing what I wanted to do, which was just kind of like, after I cleared out the enemies, really get to take in the sights of Silent Hill, right? Even now, I don't have like a good sense of the way the city's laid out or what landmarks are in which locations. It's all scrambled because I ran through everything so quickly to get away from the constantly respawning enemies. I also wish the story was a little bit more fleshed out. It's really interesting, but they didn't go really deep into it, and they kind of like skimmed over the surface of what was really happening. I know they were kind of going for like, oh, you're stuck in this situation that's bigger than what you are, and yeah, you're a part of it, but like you're not the focus of it. Now, I know this game has like 5 endings in it, and I'm pretty sure they flesh out more of the story in each of the 5 endings, but I feel like you should have gotten, 80% of the story in any playthrough you played through, and then like leave the other 20% as bonus content for getting the other endings or whatever, like each one should maybe reveal 5% more of the story. 'Cause I don't have time to play through the game 5 times. And honestly, I don't really want to play through the game 5 times. I want to keep that spooky atmosphere that I enjoyed so much the first time. And the more you play the game, the less, scared you are because you get more familiar with it. This is one of the best games I've played this year. I was constantly blown away by the detail in the game, and obviously it's a classic for a reason. Well, that was an experience to say the least, and I really enjoyed streaming this with all of you fans out there. And I'm really looking forward to playing this.
So, Aaron G., how did you enjoy your time in Silent Hill?
Well, Bring is a town. Silent Hill is like terrifying. It's pretty stressful with those respawning enemies, and it's a really scary game for something that's 20 years old.
It's funny to hear you say that, because I personally found the experience to be quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I knew you'd say something like that. I don't know if you're here to like torture me or if you're on my side, but I really appreciate you dressing up as my favorite character from the game that I accidentally let die. That was a nice touch. So, Silent Hill on the PlayStation 1 was absolutely incredible. I thought it was a fantastic game. Like I said, it's one of the best games I've played all year. And I have to say, while it isn't quite perfect, it really holds its own against a lot of modern games, and definitely against a lot of games from that time period. So Silent Hill is a 9 out of 10. It's incredible.